Yep. And back down the other end for the Thunder. And it's given to the hands of Lachlan Dent. Dent now back on the right, flicks it out, and from three, it was Jordan Bowling. And in the end, it was Barnyard who puts it in for 2 points and opens his scoring for the afternoon. Two big bodies in Barnyard and Campbell out there playing at the moment for the Thunder men.
Looked early there, Waldron.
So Jeremy
finds
McKay.
Sneaky little back foot. He got done for that last night a couple of times too. I'll be positive with how that offense worked though. They got to look. Lockie Dent. New generation coming through with Doyle defending him.
So Doyle, as you mentioned, steps up, and it's passed now to Trey Armstrong. He spots Bowling in the corner, and now
Bradbury.
It was well done by Simon Bradbury, who denies Paul Campbell. And now Doyle looking to capitalise. Tries from three, can't get it to go. Apologies if you did have any issues tuning in with us, but we are well and truly live now. And it is plays four Northwest Tasmanian men take on the Eltham Wildcats. It's Josh Sykes with the ball now. He gives it to Adam Doyle. It's a strong starting five for both sides here. And it's Waldron now from the perimeter. Ben Waldron can't get it to go. The rebound to Dent. And he gives it to Armstrong.
He's shooting 34% at the perimeter, Waldron.
Armstrong tries for three. It was slightly unorthodox, but he got it to go.
Armstrong just synonymous with the Northwest Tassie Thunder over the years, the Armstrong name.
He's shooting 45% from the perimeter so far this season is Armstrong, and he continues some decent form into tonight with that three ball. Adam Doyle matched up against Dent again. Jeremy McKay in his third game for the Wildcats off the glass. Simon Bradbury is being big, as is colloquially known. Can't get that one to go. And now it's Armstrong who spots Barnyard. Oh, Josh Sykes.
There's one highlight for the night.
Cool under pressure and kept it out. But they will have another 14 seconds to work with. So Barnyard gives it to Dent. Slightly off balance, given to Armstrong again along the baseline, and he finds more points. He has 5 now. Just Trey Armstrong, and it's the Thunder with a 5-point margin halfway through this first quarter.
Eltham coming off victory over Dandenong last night.
Did get down to Dandenong Stadium last night. It was a great match, including this man who put in about 6 dunks. Josh Sykes now proving that he can do more than just that with a mid-range jumper. Just in for 2.
It's been growing this year, that shot. People disrespected it, and slowly but surely he's been improving that that shot of his. He did work hard on it over summer.
Jordan Bowling now from the perimeter, knocks it down. And Josh Sykes just gives him a little bit of a tap on the back. Say, nice shot, mate. Now it's Doyle and Dent. Gives it to Waldron, who's matched up on Trey Armstrong. And now Doyle, who was prolific on the scoreline last night, was Adam Doyle, I would say, probably the strongest match of the season against Dandenong last night, where the Eltham Wildcats got up 104-85 in what was probably a slightly unexpected result. In Dandenong, we're missing Matt Kenyon, a player who's played for Australia. He's played, of course, throughout the New South Wales country ranks and joined Dandenong this season. And he wasn't in action last night, reason for which I'm unsure. Of course, he did come off a knee injury, and it left Eltham with a really good opportunity to get another win on the board, and they did exactly that. Having beaten Diamond Valley in the first game of the season, and then having some tough losses to Waverley, Nunawading, Geelong and Ringwood last week, where they lost by 6 points in double overtime. And now it is Jordan Bowling. Steps back, makes some room. Josh Sykes with the long limbs tried to keep it out, but it was too good. And it fell for Jordan Bowling.
That's 2 long shots he's hit over a hand already.
As was the case in the women's match, both these teams have played last night. And in the case of the Thunder men, they went down to Frankston 103-90 at Frankston. They also had a couple of tough losses to Bendigo and Nunawading, but they have beaten, of course, Southern Sabres and Waverley, and of course Hobart. So they come into tonight 3-3. Eltham Wildcats come in 2-4. Josh Sykes makes his way to the basket and knocks it down with authority.
Got to lay contact on him, Lurcher. Got to get contact on him off the ball. Can't give him that space to move. That may well be their issue, though, Eltham today. There's a lot of physicality within the Northwest team in the paint. It may well be the Achilles heel of the Eltham side. Got some talented size, but they're not physically strong. They're getting a couple of rotations in here, the Thunder, in this first quarter. As you see, Joseph Chilcott coming into the game. Born and bred Northwest Tassie boy.
So Doyle yet to hit the scoreline. Gives it to Waldron now. Tries from three again. His third attempt, and it's third time lucky for Adam Doyle. And he hits the scoreline with a big treble. He's shooting 25% from the field with that three. He's hit 4 shots.
Eltham will need to see him get going today. He'll need to put on another display like he did last night, I think, to have Eltham having a real good chance today.
And so it's flicked out.
Not shy.
And the shot came for Chilcott, but he couldn't get it to go.
When you're shooting the ball at 55% at the perimeter for the season, every right to launch.
And so it's Jordan Bowling who had those early 7 points. He sits now on the bench, gets a respite. Now it's Eltham looking to capitalise. So Adam Doyle and Dent match up again. Jeremy McKay putting around 27 points or so last night. It was a really strong performance. Josh Sykes heading inside, flicks to Doyle in the corner. And McKay fouls.
I believe that might be his second.
Tell us a bit about Jeremy McKay coming into the side.
Melbourne, Melbourne Tigers Junior. Bobbed around a little bit in college. Ended up finishing at Vanguard in California. Played, as I say, all his juniors at Melbourne Tigers. And played for Trevor Lee in the Victorian under-20 state side. Hence the connection and getting him here to Eltham. There's obviously a big role for him to play within this team, more so than possibly at some other teams where there's a lot of imports in his spot. So, yeah, it works out well. Good inclusion for the team. Still only young.
And it's another 3-ball for Trey Armstrong. And he has 8 points now, leads the scoring for the Thunder. That was a deep one. And now it is the Tassie men who lead by 8 points. Ben Waldron looking to bring that back ever so slightly. Big with the big rebound. He's fouled, heads the line for 2. Jeremy McKay, the man we were just speaking of, grandson of former Saints defender Tom McKay, played 23 games. St Kilda, as I said. He's obviously had a long and distinguished career, only being a young man, Jeremy McKay, but as you said, he's had the college pathway in California and Washington. He, as you said, was under Coach Trevor Lee at the Under-20 National Junior Championships, where they won gold, and played a lot of basketball at Melbourne Tigers throughout his junior career.
Interesting to see Mitch Hare refereeing here at Eltham. I am wondering whether he paints that referee top on.
It is quite tight,
it's tight,
as the viewers will notice.
He is well known for his gym workouts.
Perhaps you could pass on to
as Bradbury hits the free throw.
All in jest. Ovi Magbagor, who last night, can I just say, put on a performance of his NBL 1 career in what was both a defensive and offensive effort for the ages. For just a young man, he was fantastic, and now he matches up against Barnyard in what will also be, no doubt, a thrilling encounter. Chilcott inwards. Oh, it ends up with a pretty open shot. Tries twice, tries 3 times.
That is the impact of a shot blocker. Just causing doubt on the finish.
Loken was the one shooting, but he couldn't get it to go on any of the 3. Doyle now gives it to Josh Sykes. He eyed it, he tried it, and Josh Sykes bite it. And now it is a 4-point difference.
That's really a 4-point swing there, isn't it? You look at what Northwest gave up on their offensive end to then have it jammed back down your throat the other end. One of those little 4-point plays. Although
And now from deep, it was Beveridge. Couldn't get it to fall.
I say those comments about Mitch in jest. He's an NBL referee and a fantastic official, and all in good fun.
And now Ava looked for Josh Sykes. Ooh, off the referee, falls out of court.
It's too low for Josh Sykes. Not used to the ball around his chest to waist area.
A nice Sunday afternoon crowd just still filing in for this NBL 1 encounter.
It's packed at one end, and understandably, Tassie not having a huge contingent of visitors here. But interestingly, on the same side as the camera, there is all seating on the same side as the camera, all taken up. What has been a good start to this game.
Smith gives it to Bowling, who has shot 7 points so far. And now from 3, it was Smith.
A push on Sykes. Sykes pushed in the rebound contest.
And so Sam Whelan and Mitch Lee enter the court in exchange for Adam Doyle and Josh Sykes. Sykes has 6 points so far, including a big dunk. And now we're into some bench depth here, and they performed well last night, did the bench. Off some really strong performances by, as I mentioned, Ovi McBegor. Mitch Lee was good as always. And now they'll match up against a decent Tasmanian Northwest men's side. So it is Ava applying the defence to Bowling, who just negotiated his way to the basket and got 2 points. So they have 35 seconds remaining in this first quarter of basketball. 17 seconds on the shot clock. Waldron, McBegor sets the on ball. Waldron spots Ava, turns to the basket. Would usually take it. Elects to go back to Waldron now. 9 seconds on the shot. Finds Whelan. Finds Ava. It's a one-on-one. Goes left towards the basket. Gives it to McBegor. He's fouled. And he'll head to the line for 2. It was a big slap. You could hear it from here. And he'll now be at the line for 2. McBegor looking to get his first points.
That's certainly a improvement last night. Continued there on that play from Eltham compared to what we've seen the last couple of weeks. That ball movement, the team play. That ball moved through hands. Everyone knew there were a chance of seeing the ball come back in their hands again, and got themselves a good look. Unfortunately, it hasn't hit the first. Oh, I think Whelan's been fouled.
When you're a little man amongst big bodies, it can be conducive towards getting a foul, and that was the case in that occasion. And now
I'm going to put that down to a hard work foul rather than a sympathy foul. Thanks, Tyson. That's a hustler. Don't you be rude to your brother.
I'm allowed to criticise.
That was a hustle foul, that one.
No, it was good. Got in there, and you've got to be in and amongst it if you want any shot of gathering the rebounds. So now he heads to the line for 2.
Makes the first.
So the Wildcats are 4 from 6 from the free throw line, and it's 4 points the difference in favour of the Thunder. Sam Whelan will match up, and now it is the hands of Campbell.
Down to 5 seconds.
And deep in the corner is the foul, and one more. It was Smith who knocked it down, and he'll have a chance for
16 years of age.
Cool under pressure.
On in the first quarter in NBL 1 as a 16-year-old. Nailed the 3 and got the free throw. For a 4-point play here. There is 3.8 seconds remaining.
He's chalking up around 7 points per game, is Rain Smith. He has 4 already.
2
Whelan now.
1.
He can't get the shot away. The referee signals the end of the first quarter. And it is a good start by the Northwest Tasmanian men, who go into quarter time with an 8-point lead. Now, Greg Jeffers, as being the CEO of the Eltham Basketball Club, we can get some insight into the dynamics of how the season has come to be, and particularly the personnel involved. We mentioned Jeremy McKay, who's come into this side and been a presence, and in some ways that has replaced a man who started the season in Grandy Glaze. He's no longer with the Eltham Wildcats men. He was released during the week. If you could maybe tell us a little bit about, and the viewers who are interested back at home, about how that all went down and why he's no longer playing in the side.
Oh, look, it's Grandy is a big personality and did a great job during our camp programs and certainly made a big impact in his scoring and his rebounding. But you know, we were looking for a 4-5 to fill that import spot. You know, after those first couple of weeks, given the health of Chris Cameron, who's recovering, and waiting on Jeremy McKay to return from college. Look, Grandy did a terrific job for us, but it is an all-round import that you require. There is the on-court component, but there is also work within the group, and he was keen to go back to Canada. But in the same breath, we were pretty keen that it wasn't necessarily working out for both parties either, for the way that it needed to be. And that's why we made sure once it's all kind of timed very nicely for us, to be honest, with Jeremy coming back in. And now we can have a bit of a look at where that second import's required, and a fair bit of work has already gone into that. So, you know, there's no fluff, there's no bubbles to it. Grandy's, you know, will do a terrific job in that Canadian League and wherever he ends up. But just not quite necessarily the right fit for what we're requiring moving forward. And, you know, Josh Sykes, we've backed Josh in to come out of Big V to grow and mature. He's only he's only young himself, you know, 22, 23 himself. So he will grow and develop, and we're backing him in to fulfill that role. He's part of our community. As we start the second quarter.
Jeremy McKay, of course, last night had 26 points, shooting 11 of 12 from the field. He was huge.
Speaks for itself, really, doesn't it?
Yep. Oh, it's a good pass to Bowling, who puts it in for 2 points. And now he has 11 of his own.
Jeremy McKay living out in these northeastern suburbs, and that's sort of what we're here for. We're here for that region at this level.
Yep. And Bowling's now shooting 5 from 6 from the field. Sam Whelan, 10 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Kicks it across to Ben Waldron. It's a one-on-one against... Oh, it was a big 3 there. Chilcott put his hand up to defend, but Ben Waldron never looked like missing, knocked it down.
Plenty of contested threes hit so far, both sides.
Turning to the basket again, it's Bowling. It's a big rebound there for Campbell. He puts it off the glass, drops in.
It's that youthful size I talked about. It's just, Ovi's strong, he's big, he's tough, dominates physically in the youth comps, but this is a whole nother level.
Thunder shooting 52% from the field. The Wildcats just at 44%. Ava now looks to Waldron. There's a hand in there, and so it's knocked up and come down towards the hands of Rain Smith. Now Bowling gives it to Dent. So Campbell goes baseline in the corner. And now from 3, it's Smith who knocks it in, and it's raining 3 balls for the Thunder here at Eltham.
Well, he surpassed his season average already. He's on 7.
Good spot by Whelan.
Big foul.
Waldron's fouled. And so Thunder now shooting 56% from the 3-point range. 5 from 9, and that's Campbell who heads to the bench in exchange for a man with just as big a stature in Nicholas Barnyard. Barnyard, a very experienced player, played college, of course, for New Mexico, played for Illinois State as well. He's played in Japan, he's played all over the place, and now he finds a home in Tasmania with the Thunder as Ben Waldron hits the first free throw. So the man I was speaking of, Barnyard, gathers that rebound, and that's his 3rd rebound of the match. So it's Dent. Josh Sykes almost stepped up, but retreats back to Barnyard, a better matchup. And this is an exciting encounter. Barnyard backing up Josh Sykes with the big hands, keeps it out. But, ooh, foul called.
That is after the shot.
So it's...
That's those ones. That's the one thing Josh has got to make sure he continues to improve. That just a couple of cheap ones he gives away, almost unnecessarily.
The block was good though.
The block was fantastic. It's those silly little ones like that just aren't required.
And so it's Trey Armstrong, gives it to Dent. Whelan and Dent now inside. It's against the same matchup as last time. Too strong, turns the basket off the glass, puts it in for 2. Josh Sykes, for those that do follow along with the NBL one, will know that he is an excitement machine. He puts down dunks like they're the easiest thing in the world, and for many of us, that's just not the case, as Waldron jams the ball in for a jump ball. And of course, last night, if you were tuning in when the Eltham Wildcats defeated Dandenong, you would have seen a dunk show if ever there was one. Adam Doyle just dishing dimes. In fact, even a couple that probably weren't the best assists, but Josh Sykes gathered what I consider to be one of the most amazing dunks. It didn't look that great on the vision, but
just
I
helping
tell you
him,
what.
just helping him make the top 10 plays of the week. Just make the dunk a little more difficult.
He's got extender arms to Josh Sykes, and now Ava with the ball.
Just looking at, yeah, it's just a little bit messy, that little piece of play. 5
seconds remaining on the shot. They're going to have to get one away. Armstrong applying some solid defence with the defender there. He does get the shot away.
Said it looked disorganised. It didn't quite get any better.
No, it didn't in the end.
That's a disappointing look.
It's the Thunder who probably have looked slightly more organised.
Yeah.
With the plate possession, and it gives Mitch Lee a one-on-one. But in the end, it's Barnyard trying from 3. It looked in, but fell out. Mitch Lee gathered the rebound. His first rebound of the afternoon.
Barnyard back to stop the transition play. Josh not willing to go at it.
Presenting was Ben Waldron. Oh, knocked out with authority by Barnyard. The locals are stunned. That was just sent.
We're not accustomed to seeing high-profile dunks, blocks like that.
No.
Normally it's you and the red team doing that. But Waldron did the right thing, got to the right space. That's where he needs to be getting to.
Doyle now. He's hit 1-3 so far.
Just read that pass, it's Dent.
So it's Armstrong again, and he gives it off to Beveridge. Josh Sykes and Barnyard rather inside, just hustling for position. And there's a laneway bowling thinks, but it was well done by Jeremy McGay, who just put his body in the way. And now it is Ben Waldron with the transition ball. Finds Adam Doyle, who made it hard for him.
Been a bit sloppy, haven't they? Eltham to start this one.
After what was a dominant performance last night, they've been a bit out of sorts. And there's a flopping warning that will be called on Lockie Dent here. The referee is signalled. And that will be made official at the next whistle. And there's a foul call that will be on Justin Ava.
Shaffett to come in for Ava.
And so the flopping warning's made, and Dave Shaffett enters the court.
Shaffett, Bulleen Junior. Went and played a little bit of youth program at Hawthorn, and then last year went and played with Kilsyth in the SEABL. Got a close relationship with Ben Waldron from their schooling days, so inclusion here at Eltham.
We know Shaffett does have a shot on him. He's only I think he's shot 29% from the field so far, so we'll want to try and lift that up in this match. And then he has a real opportunity to do this because they're down by 13 points. It's passed across and given to Beveridge. The foul will be on Foul's on Jeremy McKay.
Third foul on McKay now. Coach Lee leaving him in the game.
Yet to hit the scoreline, or yet to gather a rebound. Probably hasn't had the strongest performance after a 26-point game last night, but we know that he can insert himself when the moment requires. And so it's bowling. A mismatch here. Shaffett, he tried his best, but there's left too much vertical room for Barnyard to turn to the basket and drop it in. So the 10th ladder position team in the Thunder are proving themselves to be too strong against the 15th ladder position in Eltham Wildcats as a timeout is taken for the Thunder.
Well, Eltham look disjointed. Almost, look, you just hope they're not resting on their laurels over beating Dandenong. You know, it's lacking a certain amount of intensity and looking for someone to get their mojo. The Northwest have seen that ball move offensively, powerful inside, some good range at the three-point line to complement that too. Just Eltham looking a little bit reactive to everything at the moment.
The Thunder men, definitely high scoring side. They put up 90 points in a loss last night. They shot 116 against Waverley and lost. Oh no, sorry, that's wrong. They won 121 to 116. Waverley shot 116 points and lost. But they've also shot 102 against Hobart, so they're 96 against the Sabres. So they're a high-scoring side. And you can see when you have someone like Barnyard out there with that offensive presence, where that scoring comes from.
Yeah, but they've had some other guys that aren't renowned for scoring. They've already made an impact on this game. So likes of Bowling coming in and hitting 11, Smith coming in and hitting 7. They're already at or surpassed their game average.
Trey Armstrong, when he's putting up 18.5 points per game, just shows you that they do have that share of scorers despite how strong someone like a Barnyard is inside, as that man gathers the ball. And so there's a bit of a change here with McKay matching up against Barnyard. Josh Sykes offers some help. It's Bowling now. Is there a travel call there? 3-second violation instead, and it's going to be Eltham now with the possession.
That was a bit lucky.
Yeah.
That was that was a bailout for Eltham, I think. Josh going the shot block on the shot fake, out of position, and about to have a step through scored on him, I think.
Lockie Dent's defense is second to none on that Adam Doyle dribble, and now he gets a hand in there with the deflection, but falls back down to Adam Doyle. So they have 8 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Oh, he drives in, and with the penetration gets 2 points. And that's probably what they've lacked so far, which is that space in the key way to work with. And down the other end, there has been the space for the big men to work with. And now the man I'm speaking of, averaging 19 points per game, looks across. He found Beveridge, and now Armstrong from 3, looking for his second 3 ball. It's a foul call. It should be Eltham ball, I suspect.
Geez, they're working hard off the ball, Northwest Tassie, working hard off the ball on that low post. Looking to use their size and strength to their advantage, as you'd well expect.
Simon Bradbury enters the court. Now there's a big side out here for Eltham with McKay, Josh Sykes, Simon Bradbury on the court. It's Bowling who heads to the bench. Campbell is also on the bench, a man that has inserted himself as well so far. Looking for more points on the drive, gives it to Simon Bradbury. Easy as you like it. His assisting has been outstanding.
Been a little bit of the master and the apprentice with Dent on Doyle. Saying that, Doyle, 28-year-old, not often he has to play in double headers back-to-back and be playing north of 30 minutes in both.
Armstrong finds his second 3. It was deep. And now it's 14 points the lead for the Thunder. 3 to 4 minutes remaining in this quarter of basketball. Now it's given to McKay. Oh, he tries to spot Josh Sykes.
Good position defensively by Chilcott. Took that angle away for Josh.
And now with some room, Josh Sykes keeps it out. And now it's 2-on-1. Shafford, what does he decide to do? Found some space, steps back and puts it in for 2. And now they need to develop a bit of momentum here to the Wildcats. Get the crowd on side.
Come on, Coach Sam. A little bit of entertainment, mate. Come on. Oh. They're still claiming some goaltending.
Josh Sykes was called for a goaltending in Ringwood last week in the dying stage of the match, but was ultimately reversed. And that is often the case. Josh Sykes is flying so high. It's a determination about if the ball was on its way down or not. And in this occasion, it didn't matter because it was a foul called, and it's Lockie Dent to the line for 2. Lockie Dent returned to basketball. He did 1 year at the Sydney Swans Academy. Now he's solely focused on basketball, he says. He played in the FIBA Under-16 Oceania Championship. And he has had a distinguished junior career.
Yeah, it's Gun Junior. Gun Junior coming through the ranks.
So it's just over 3 minutes remaining. Josh Sykes, there's a couple of defenders pressing high up the court. And they get it down to their possession end. Doyle with the ball. Down to 13 already. Simon Bradbury with that big body sets a screen. There'll be a foul here. It's just the 3rd team foul.
That hesitation, that change of speed is impressive, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. So Adam Doyle has the ball for the inbound from the baseline. Simon Bradbury matches up. It's Barnyard as well. It's Shaffett now. He's got 2 points already. Gives it to Josh Sykes. And now with 6 seconds remaining on the shot clock, finds Simon Bradbury. And in slow motion, puts it in for 2 points.
Don't see Josh creating too often, but did that well. Drew the rotation.
A bit more of that. And now with all the space in the world, Barnyard who tried from 3 but couldn't get it to go.
They've given him space. He's been shooting at 21% from the perimeter this year, so
Doyle pulls up. Josh Sykes.
Oh, there you go.
What even was that? He was almost on the ground, but he still got a hand to a ball and put it in for 2. Doyle did most of the work, really. It was Sykes who just lowered it in for him.
You could argue it was going to drop in, but anyway.
Yes, you could. But Josh Sykes has 8 points.
Here we go.
Shooting 46% from the field.
Oh,
Doyle.
well defended.
They'll be out on
well defended.
And so Campbell re-enters the court for the Thunder in exchange for Beveridge. He's yet to hit the scoreline.
Eltham's done well though. Northwest just looking like they were going to break this away. Just got it back to that 10-point lead.
I think if they can pin back maybe another goal
or
2, they'll be pretty happy, considering that it seems, as you said, it could have gone out a long way. But now it is Barnyard looking to score. Gives it to Chilcott, and now heading baseline, spots Barnyard. That was unlucky. Falls out, and now it's Shaffett who found Josh Sykes. He's matched up against a guard. And now Shaffett gives it to Magbegor. Doyle, Simon Bradbury inside, gives it to him. And now Magbegor to one-on-one if he wants it. Turns to the basket, tries for the shot.
Fell away out of it a little bit, didn't he?
Yeah.
Intimidated in that.
Didn't have the poise in the end.
Yeah.
Oh,
Gets his hands back on it though, Ovi. Good deflection from Shaffett.
Shaffett, yep. Double team, keeps it in court. Shaffett's done a job. Now it's Doyle with the ball from 3. Adam Doyle rims out. Simon Bradbury's been strong. Has Simon Bradbury, and just like that, it's back to 8 points. Bradbury now with 10 points.
Hello to Mark Worthington out there. Didn't have a lot of great comments about Mr. Bradbury last week. But to his credit, and, you know, he didn't play a great game last week, Bradbury. I think he'd be the first to admit it, but come out today and he's got hands on the ball when he's needed to, and has finished around the rim for the most part. That's what he's there to do.
He has 10 points, shooting 80% from the field. He's gathered 6 rebounds. He has assist of his own and a block, so that's a pretty decent start for Simon Bradbury, or Big as he's known amongst his comrades for the Wildcats. And so, with a minute or so to go in this second quarter of basketball, it is the Thunder who hold on to an 8-point margin.
It's just that, I think for Eltham, it does start on the defensive end though. There's a number of guys that come in, just being a little bit more accountable defensively, one-on-one, and also on their rotations. And this scores Northwest some tougher looks than what they did early on. They have a chance to get out and run a little bit, and they've looked more organised. No, understandably, you're going to put Doyle on the floor, they're going to look more organised. But I think last time I sat here with you, Tyson, I did suggest I'd like to see Sam running in the 2 alongside Doyle, and it worked pretty well. And I hope Coach Trevor Lee is going to have another look at that at some stage, because it does allow him to free up a little bit and has got the penetration, the ability to shoot the ball that some others don't have.
The Thunder have not scored since 3 minutes and 14 seconds to go in this quarter, so it's been about 2 minutes, and now they're looking for a score through Barnyard's. A foul called, and he'll head to the line for a free throw or 2.
They're looking to pound that thing in, aren't they?
And he makes the first. Moves to 7 points now. And makes it 8. So he's shooting 100% from the free throw line, but shooting just around 30% from field goal range. And now with 30 seconds to go, 10 points the difference. Doyle with the ball. Bradbury setting a high screen, and now Doyle He throws it up. And we'll head to the charity strip for a couple.
Sucked in Banyard then, didn't he, really? That's his first.
More issues with the ball.
Oh, it's a bit of sweat.
On a cool autumn day in Eltham. Some tough work from these players out there. And a bit of perspiration requires just a little touch-up. And now at the line. Doyle hits the first.
Just chipping away at this lead.
So there's 28 seconds remaining. And it is the Thunder who lead by 8 points. It ends up in the hands of Dent. He shot 2 points so far. Looking for more. Goes baseline. Magbagor applies some help. Knocked out of court.
And by Bradbury.
So the shot clock does beat the game clock by just 3 seconds. 9 seconds remaining on the shot clock. 13 remaining on the game. And now at the baseline. It is Dent presenting. It's Armstrong. Can Schaffer get there? He does. And Doyle tries for a steal, but it's well done by Dent. And now from 3, from the perimeter, knocks it down. The dying seconds of the half, and now time will expire unless Schaffer can get the long-range jumper to go. And that draws to a close. It's been a very enticing couple of quarters of basketball that culminates in a 11-point margin in favour of the Northwest Tasmanian Thundermen.
Well, certainly more inspired second quarter, from Eltham. As I said, I think defensively they locked up a little bit, even that last shot, Dent shooting over the long hand of Simon Bradbury. It's a tough three to make. To Northwest's credit, at various stages they've made them.
And so when we look at our scoring leaders for the Wildcats, it's been Simon Bradbury, who we talked about, into double figures with 10 points. Josh Sykes has 8. Adam Doyle, he's put up a lot of shots and he's come away with 7 points. We're looking to just keep the scoring going in the second half. On the other end, it's Trey Armstrong with 11. Jordan Bowling has 11 as well. And Banyard has 8. And so it's been the big men, Bradbury and Bowling, as well as Trey Armstrong, of course, with that outside shot that has led to scoring ways so far. And when we look at the rebound counts, it's been both ways. And our shooting percentages as well indicate that there's some decent shooting going out. Eltham shooting 43% from the field, Thunder shooting 46%. So similar stat lines, and it's 11 points the difference. What are you seeing on the stat sheet?
Yeah, look, I think it was Eltham's biggest problem was some of those that offense early on. Just looked disorganised and a little bit disjointed, but they've fixed that up. I think Doyle's second run certainly opened that up a little bit. I think you saw the impact of, for Northwest, they're finishing around the rim. I haven't got the specific stats on it, but just off my eye, their finishing around the rim in that second quarter was a little poorer than what they started. You'd have to argue a shot block or two out of Josh Sykes gets in your head. You sort of see it on video, it's happening, but once you see it happen once or twice within the game, whether you start doubting yourself on that finish, where is he looking for him, coming for you? Just wonder whether that affected them, but at the same time, those big bodies have certainly been a big presence for Tassie Thunder, and then to top it off, we've spoken about their shooting at the perimeter, complemented each other quite well.
And so, as you mentioned, those blocks have come into play. Eltham with 5 blocks compared to the Thunder's just the 1. If we look at points at the paint, it's Eltham with 20 points, the Thunder have 14. So they've had a lot of shots, as you said, and some of them have now been more pressured in that second quarter, which means that Eltham certainly fought back in some ways, but it does stay out at an 11-point margin as we headed into this half-time break. So, as I said, it's 11 points the difference in favour of the Northwest Tasmanian men. Eltham Wildcats at home will be looking to turn that around in the second half of basketball. Do stick around, we'll be back in just a few moments. And so we are back for the second half of basketball. You're watching NBL 1 action. It is round 5 here at the Eltham High School, and it's the Eltham Wildcats taking on the Northwest Tasmanian Thunder in our second match of the afternoon. And at this stage, it is the Thunder, the away team, who are leading by 11 points. In that first half of basketball that you saw, it was a strong performance by the Thunder. As I mentioned, the Eltham Wildcats did peg back a few scores in that second quarter, but ultimately stayed out to that 11-point margin. In terms of the scoring leaders, as I said before the break, it was Simon Bradbury leads with double figures, 10 points. At the other end, it's Trey Armstrong and Nicholas Banyard, who have 11 points each. And it has been a strong performance, as I said, from the Thunder, and they have 2 quarters left of basketball to hold on to this margin to get a strong away win that they'd want, given that they are sitting at 3-3 for their win-loss record so far after a tough loss to Frankston last night. Here at Eltham, they'll be looking to continue some form into this third quarter. I'm Tyson Whelan. I'm joined alongside by Greg Jeffers, the CEO of the Eltham Wildcats Basketball Club. And Greg, it was a pretty exciting first half of basketball.
Well, I think Northwest keep going the way they're going, they'll be okay. But Eltham probably have some more strings they'd like to see added to their bow in this second half. But Lockie Dent's a great start, nice penetration.
Josh got a foul there. It was a hands foul. Wasn't a fan of it, but the referee spotted a foul, and that's his 3rd personal foul.
That was more reminiscent of a volleyball block on the normal.
Josh Sykes will be good at volleyball.
Than the typical Josh Sykes shot blocks we see.
And so it is Campbell at the line. He's hit 4 points so far, shooting 67% from the field.
He's normally a 68% free throw shooter.
Can't get the second to go. Josh Sykes gathered the rebound. Your Eltham Wildcats men at the moment are Sykes, Waldron, Doyle, Bradbury and McKay. At the other end, it's Bowling, Dents, Armstrong, Campbell and Banyard. And so Doyle penetrates to the basket off the glass. It's the second time he's been successful with that sort of penetration this afternoon. And that never looked like it was going to be much trouble because he's got those quick feet. He found the way to the basket. Down the other end, Armstrong looking for a similar move with some spin. Puts it in for 2.
Big class, isn't he? Freeze. Turn in the corner, get to the rim.
He's agile. He's quite a taller sort of player, and he has 13 points now. Leads all scorers, so it's Waldron now. He pulls up, free throw area, too short. Bradbury fights for the rebound, but it comes down in favour of the Thunder through the hands of Armstrong again. So Armstrong flicks it back to Banyard from 3. He hasn't been able to hit one so far, but that was good. And he knocked it down from the depth.
He's certainly been shooting it with confidence. So you had to expect something was going to go down. As I said, 21% at the 3-point line this year, but not a great percentage, but certainly hasn't been shy.
So he shot 1 from 3 from the perimeter. It's out of court. It will be Eltham ball. So Bradbury sets a high pick. Doyle with some room from 3. Can't get it to go. McKay and Bowling fight for the rebound. Bowling's the beneficiary in the end. It's 14 points the difference. That was a good finish in the end by Banyard. And it's a timeout taken. It's called by Coach Trevor Lee for Eltham.
Trey Armstrong, just like the family in the past have all done at the C-ball level. Can score and can create.
Comes from a very strong basketballing family, does Trey Armstrong. His brother Taryn was awarded an NBA Global Academy Scholarship with Basketball's Australia Centre of Excellence. And of course, Trey Armstrong, the man playing out there today, played at the Asian Championship with the Australian Emus. And they had an unbeaten record, so very strong basketball blood in that family.
Legends of the area, the family, and a long history, as I said, through SEABL and now into NBL 1.
And that man has 13 points so far this afternoon as we're 2 minutes into this third quarter of basketball. It's the Northwest Tasmanian men who lead by 16 points. And what should they be discussing in this timeout, do you think, to try and counter this run from the Thunder?
Well, we've got to have a look at that high pick and roll, how they defend that, because they've turned the corner on that extremely well already a couple of times in this third quarter and created. Problem is, when you get Bradbury showing off that on ball, you're almost going 4 on 5 from there, unfortunately.
McKay presents at the top of the perimeter. It's Waldron with the ball in hand, bowling with all the space in the world, slams it down.
You've got to protect the space a little better than that. That was just hanging his hands out to catch it, and bowling took the opportunity.
Probably not the start they would have wanted after that timeout by any measurement. And now a chance for Thunder really to flex their muscles. 18 points is what separates. 7 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Sykes comes to present. 4 seconds now. Doyle pulls up. They just haven't been landing like they were, particularly last night, and also in other games for Doyle. Now Bowling looking to make it 20 points. The difference does exactly that. And Eltham, as they have sort of for the whole afternoon, looking a little bit of a mess. McKay. He's fouled, puts in the 2.
Didn't see any of that in the first half, did we? That's what we saw a fair bit of out of him last night. That one bounce, attacking the rim at some speed.
Unbelievably, his first points of the match after a 26-point game last night finds his first score in this third quarter of basketball.
Interestingly, Coach Trevor Lee going with a small lineup. Sykes and Bradbury coming out.
Magbegor will have a job to do. He'll match up against Campbell and McKay on Banyard. Dent gives it to Armstrong. Well, from left to one open, and in the end, it was 2 points to Banyard because there was one defender for 2 players in the end.
Smacked on that on ball. It's almost the same as the women trying to defend Launceston at times. Shaffett
left with little option, finds Doyle in the end, and now Ovi Magbegor should be able to finish, but he isn't. So now it's back in the hands of the Thunder. Bowling keeps it in court. Oh, it was a good spot, and now Bunyan with the slam! And it's a timeout and a necessary one for the Wildcats just to...
Suddenly we're at 21.
Just to think about, it's a standing timeout too. So he means business, does Coach Trevor Lee, because 40 points at this stage of the match is not enough, and they're obviously not holding Tasmania either at the defensive end.
Have to tweak a couple of the rules, I think. Tweak a couple of the rules on what they're doing on the on-balls, because that's causing them a world of trouble. Offensively, they're getting exposed as well. Thunder's adjusting very, very well to Eltham's offense, and full credit to them. We talked about their inside presence, and they were going well enough at that when it was 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-3. Now they're creating the number advantage and taking full advantage of it.
Another factor that was on display last night was Eltham's ability to hit outside shots. They've shot 2 from 11 from the perimeter, shooting at 18%, which does nothing for the margin right now that sits at 21.
Yeah, they moved the ball last night. They moved the ball last night to generate those opportunities. You know, they had an inside and an outside presence. Today, it's just almost been rigid.
A lot of pointing, but not enough moving, really. And now Waldron spots Shafford. And now they've come out of this timeout with a bit more intensity, which is good to see. They have 7 seconds. And now it sort of becomes a bit more rigid again as McKay steps back. 1 second remaining. Doyle in the dying moments knocks it in for 3. Does Adam Doyle. And it couldn't be any more timely for the Wildcats.
They need someone to lift them. He's certainly the guy that could do it. That's Trey Armstrong again. That's, you know, won't get much recognition on the stat sheet for that, but that's all him.
Doyle now shooting 2 from 7 from the perimeter. As Ben Waldron heads to the bench for a spell. Mitch Lee also takes off Jeremy McKay.
Referee Mitch Hare removing some dirt off the court, by the looks of it.
Very busy. Old Mitch.
Puts it down.
And so
20.
Armstrong, who has been absolutely prolific on the stat sheet and otherwise, with 13 points, heads to the bench for a well-deserved break.
Eltham will be relieved.
Oh yeah. Ovi Magbagor at the baseline is forced out of court and will now be back in the hands of Thunder.
Unfortunately today, Oves just fumbles at the wrong time and missed the opportunities he probably should have taken. But he is in his 4th or 5th game at this level and growing into it. We said they needed to do something different. They've zoned it.
Well, another offensive rebound. Can't get any of them to go. They've got to fight and hustle for every single rebound. Nothing is coming easily for the Wildcats at the moment. And they are very lucky to get away without a score because the Thunder were looking very likely in that phase of play. So Ava with some room at the perimeter. Looks at his options. Mitch Lee presents and sets the screen for Shaffett to present. He finds Doyle. Can he get his 3rd 3 of the night? He certainly can. Adam Doyle.
Good to see Shaffett find that next pass. But Doyle moving off the ball well.
If he can get a few more of them, they'll be well on their way. But now, at the other end, it was Smith who tried from long range. Shaffett just too strong, pulls it out of his hands with the steal. Doyle was running, but the defender's there, so Ava just says, let's calm it down for a moment. Shaffett sets the on ball for Doyle. Goes back left, driving towards the basket. Left Ovi with the...
There it is again. That's those opportunities he's missed today.
Made the defense collapse, and now he's had a chance for a cut into the basket. They have 8 seconds still to work with. Magbagor stepping right up. Doyle from 3 is fouled. Almost got it to go.
Sitting right behind that, thought we were on for a 4-point play there.
It looked likely, but it hit the iron and fell out. So some substitutions being made as Chilcott enters the court. It's also Loken who re-enters the court for his second time this afternoon. Doyle will want to hit all 3 of these because they are so desperately needed. Shot 4 from 4 so far, looking to make it 5 from 5.
That's what Eltham needed. They've responded out of that second timeout. We're back to a 14-point game.
Well, it took 2 timeouts to do it, but as you say, they are starting to show a bit more at the offensive end, and it probably...
Change of defence, a different look.
It's probably a product of Armstrong being on the bench
Yeah,
as well.
it does.
So.
I think what he was doing, certainly.
Lockie Dent knocks it down from the corner.
Hasn't he been good?
Oh, yeah. He has 8 points now, does Dent. Shaffett turns back to the basket, gathers his own ball, then puts it in for 2 points to Shaffett. He has 4 points now. And now it's Smith with his own 3 ball. As Armstrong sits waiting to re-enter the court.
Well, that's his third 3 for the 16-year-old.
He's got 10 points. Shaffett steps back and puts in more points. Coming alive is Shaffett. He has 6 now. It's 53 plays 69 here at the Den. It was Loken who tried for the mid-range jumper.
That size. Ovie went chasing.
Oh, it was well done by Ava. But we had unsportsmanlike foul called. Whether or not it was inadvertent, it was called unsportsman. And because he had a laneway to the basket, that will be called an unsportsmanlike foul. And Ava will have 2 shots and possession.
Maybe just thinking of his Sydney Swans year there. No, nothing dirty in it, but
No.
still the right call.
Ava certainly assisted the referee in making the decision, which was the right one, as you say.
Those who know Ava know he does that quite well.
And he makes both his free throws, as he always does. So it's Doyle who will inbound the ball, and they'll have 14 seconds to work with on the shot clock. Just under 3 minutes remaining. Ooh, is there a foul off the ball? No. Mitch Lee.
A little bit of contact, starting to liven things up a little bit.
Maybe that's what the Wildcats need, something to just spur them into gear. Doyle now looks for more points. He's coming alive, and now what was a timeout being called by the Wildcats in sort of disgruntledly. It is the Thunder coach who does the same.
Re-enter Trey Armstrong. Look out. Back to 12 though, and the zone, just the different look, has caused some problems.
Adam Doyle shooting 20 points now.
Just he is a class above when he gets going, isn't he? We've seen it last night against Dandenong, last week against Ringwood, third quarter tonight.
I think it would be fair to say, and I'm sure even Adam would acknowledge this, it took probably a few games to get into his form. Just a few too many turnovers and missed shots in those first 2 games. But certainly last night was unreal, and he's certainly showing that sort of form again today with his 20 points, which is certainly what the Eltham club would be wanting from him.
Yeah, no, certainly, and he's just a great person, and his partner Sarah, both a fantastic pair of people, and walked into the Eltham community, and you know, what a person for our young people to be looking up to and learning from in Adam Doyle.
Yep.
Just a great person off the court, good leader on it, and also just for the everyday kid that isn't going to be super tall, just shows them there is an opportunity.
Brings 4 years of NBL experience with the Adelaide 36ers to this Eltham lineup, and now with that, it is back to 12 points, the difference in this third quarter of basketball. Looking to make it back to 15, it was Armstrong. He has another opportunity, another row board. Driving inside now. Beveridge gets it to go for 2 points. And that's his first points of the afternoon. Pushes it back to 14. Shaffett gives it to Doyle.
Tells him to go away with the on ball, let me go at him myself.
Ooh, it's big from Ovi Magbegor. Would have loved to get the finish.
Doesn't show many expressions, does he, Ovi? Very, very straight-faced. But I sense that he'd be a little bit frustrated he hasn't put a few of these away.
Yep.
Another good creation, though, from Doyle.
Well, I mean, it's as much as it is frustrating for the baskets not to go, it's good to see that the option's there and being produced, because at times throughout this afternoon it just hasn't looked likely. It's looked as likely as that free throw did look like it was going in, because that was well short. But
yeah, I'm not sure what to say, Tyson, to that. That's
second one looked more likely but didn't get it to go, so it stays at 14 points, the difference. So Armstrong now on that left hand, puts it back on his right. Ava playing the defense, and now he takes up the call. There'll be a foul there, and that will be 2 free throws, I think, for Justin Ava, as Josh Sykes re-enters the court.
Just Beveridge, just a bit of contact between Beveridge and Shaffett, and then followed up with a foul. It's just starting to get a little bit of physical contact between the two sides.
Magbegor heads to the bench, yet to get a score, even though, as we said,
had
been
the
a few
opportunities.
options. Yep.
Just protected Josh a little bit too. He's got the 3 fouls, as with McKay also on 4. Just try to protect Josh a little bit, but you just hope they're still within striking distance. 13 points. They do need that size on the floor, because without him,
for his 3 fouls, he's pulled out 4 blocks, which makes the highlight reel looking to make it 5. And now is Smith, who tries for 3. Ava gathered the rebound. Back to Ava now from Doyle. Ava heading inside, is fouled off the glass, it goes for two. The crowd are standing up on their feet because the Eltham Wildcats will have a chance for a three-point play here if Ava can make the free throw as Bowling re-enters the court.
So he hasn't had the opportunity to do too much this year, just that little bit of space, use his lateral movement on the drives. That's the Ava we're used to seeing.
I think, yeah, Ava would probably be the first to admit that he hasn't been as strong as he'd like so far this season, but that's the sort of moves that he can do when he's at his best, and we certainly hope that he can produce more of that in this game and beyond. Josh Sykes with his long arms.
They're the cheap ones he doesn't want to give up.
Mitch Lee now applying the defense. Justin Ava gets a hand on it. The foul call. Doyle led to the line for two free throws, and the physicality factor has certainly come into play. And what was a 20-point margin is now just 10 points with an opportunity for Adam Doyle to make it 8.
So just he's going to fight through it.
Physio ready to help out if needed.
He is. Sit down, Brett Cole. Sponsor, Brett Cole. Loyal to the program for some time, but Doyle won't even look that way.
We saw, in some ways, we saw a similar thing. I mean, it's still a margin that Eltham won't be too satisfied with, but in that Waverley game, and really come back in the end of that third quarter, and after being trailing by, I think it was 18 points or something, and just in the last didn't continue that.
Yep.
Now they'll be looking to just take some momentum into this third quarter, but use it in the fourth to continue the scoring ways.
Well, if you get another stop or two here to finish the quarter, maybe put another score on for Eltham, and they will take all the momentum.
Oh,
well,
Josh Sykes with his hands. Bowling was denied, and now it's Justin Ava with the ball. Turns back to the basket, doing what he does best, as I said.
There you go.
Puts it in for 2 points, and it's back to just 6 points the difference.
Well, this is the Eltham we're used to seeing.
Doyle almost looks for the
They've
intercept.
competed.
Ava, look at the defensive pressure they're applying now. Oh, wow. I think that Tasmania, I'm slightly perplexed why they wouldn't have either arms, let's see what the free ball does, in and out.
Well, that would have been massive, that really.
Why Campbell or
having a rest, aren't they?
on the court. But anyway, there's a foul called. There'll be 2 free throws here.
That's Josh's fourth. This will be the one concern, I think, for Eltham.
I think I'd be remiss to say that it didn't play a huge factor in the Ringwood loss last week. Josh Sykes being fouled off before the game.
That's a little bit of that maturity I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
That's, you know, as the first free throw was made, but I think that's one where Josh given away a couple of 1 or 2 silly ones last week when we needed him in the game, unfortunately down the stretch, but it's the way it goes. Misses the second.
So they have 4 seconds. Adam Doyle, 2-1. Doesn't get a shot away, surely. Shafford puts it up. And that draws to a close.
We've seen that throughout the night, haven't we? Just fumbles at the wrong time,
yeah.
Both in the men's game and the women's game. When teams have gone that last shot, just fumbled in the closing stages. But, well, that is a huge quarter.
Greg Jeffers, it is back to 7 points the difference. It was as far out as 20 points the difference, I think even during that third quarter towards the start there. And as I said, back to 7. It's still a lot of work to do for Eltham in this final quarter of play, but they looked likely in that third quarter.
Well, Doyle's the man, isn't he? Really, he is the guy that will make or break this game. I mean, they definitely need to keep Sykes in the match, without question. But offense has looked significantly better in that third quarter, with Doyle starting to create and get some finishes, but also creating for others. You know, sit here talking about points he's made, but he's also created for others that they've missed. So really, you know, they should have another 1 or 2 buckets on the board, really. But Northwest Tassie also did take the opportunity to rest some guys, both imports, sat on the bench for a fair portion of that late in that third quarter when Eltham's made the run. So you bring Campbell, bring Banyard back into the game, particularly Banyard with his 21 points.
Particularly if Josh Sykes isn't playing in this whole quarter, it would be, I mean...
Well, yeah, you're right. You're right. But I think Doyle created a lot for the Eltham team. You know, Sykes made some big impact Sykes made big impact defensively.
Matching up against those two, I mean, if he's not there to match up against them too, it's a bit of a concern.
Sorry, yeah, you're right. And those guys coming back into this fourth quarter, you would imagine, may just change the landscape a little bit. Coach Armstrong went with some of his younger guys and got some good time into them in that third quarter, give them the opportunity under pressure.
Trey Armstrong has 3 fouls of his own. He'll be wanting to just make sure he stays disciplined to stay on the court in this final period of play.
Well, you're right, because like Doyle, when Armstrong went off, that's when things started to get going. Eltham just started to get moving a little bit when Armstrong had a rest. So they've got a good group, but like every team, they've got their strengths and their weaknesses.
So Banyard and Campbell, who have combined for 12 of their rebounds this afternoon, 12 of their 29 rebounds. Banyard with 8, Campbell with 4, both on the court now. It'll be Josh Sykes who will have to stay disciplined because he's on 4 fouls. Adam Doyle looking to make an impact to start this final quarter. Can't get it to go. A chance to bring it back to just 4 points. That's now an opportunity.
Staying in that zone, Eltham, which did cause Northwest Tassie some problems.
Well, it was one that well done by Bowling, just fading away, puts it in for 2 points. And pushes it back out to 9. Mitch Lee, the high screen. Justin Ava, he'd want to hit it, looks right. Bounced, comes down for Banyard. Never really looked likely. A strange pass there, but anyway.
Not as if Mitch Lee jumped from anywhere, was it?
No, pretty much landed in his basket. Justin Ava, charging foul called.
Charge.
It was a tough one, but I could sort of sense it because
certainly initiated contact, no doubt. But and here's. Oh no, they've called it on Sykes. Oh, it's okay. Referee David Baddock talking about Sykes moving off the ball, I think, there, and using his arm to protect the space.
Well,
and that is the end of Sykes.
For those watching at home, you can have a look, go back on your screen and watch the replay, because we obviously don't have that luxury here. It was a good pass. Will be a foul called, and 1 for Banyard. And
I say this, but you've got to have responsibility. You're being paid to be here there as an import. You've got to have responsibility to last a game.
Yep.
That's just as simple as that.
And Banyard and Campbell are showing exactly what sort of impact they can have as imports for the Thunder. And now Banyard leads all scorers with 24 points. So Doyle looks towards Mitch Lee. Justin Ava now. Thought he saw a laneway to the basket. He's fouled. Edge and line for 2. Needs to hit them both.
And that is the call he was looking for before, Ava.
So Ava, who's had 8 points, looking to make it 9, hits the first. So Simon Bradbury ready to re-enter the court for the Wildcats. Ava at the free throw line. Can't get the second one to fall.
The issue is now inside, isn't it? McKay and Lee playing in that 4-5 head-to-head on the 2 imports.
Armstrong with some space deep in the 3-point range.
Outstanding he's been today.
Puts a dagger through the hearts of the Eltham Wildcats fans. And now it's Shaffett with the ball, looking to just find a way to fight back this 14-point margin. Shaffett. Defense being applied by Banyard. Steps back and puts it in for 2 points. Shaffett now with 8. He's had an impact this afternoon. Shooting 57% from the field.
There's a lot of dribbles in there, Tyson.
Oh, yeah. So Bowling kicks it back up to Armstrong. He shot a 3 on the last possession, this time going inside, which says something about, a foul called. With the third team foul for the Wildcats.
Every time something's happening for Northwest,
Yeah.
I feel like Armstrong's involved. Yeah, needed to do something about size. Looking a little short.
Armstrong.
There's that man again.
Gets the ball. Trying to work out who should stand up and present. So it's Dent gives it to Armstrong, looking for another 3 ball. It was amazing from the moment it left his hand. And he has 19 points. It's Armstrong. Foul call down the other end. It'll be Doyle heading to the line for 2.
It's nice, nice mid-court screen there from Bradbury. Like, lack of communication from Northwest Tassie with Dent getting hit, which led to Doyle going downhill at the paint. And they're going to need to get something different again defensively, because you can't keep Northwest ticking over online for 100 and expect to get past it.
And so he makes both free throws again. Is Adam Doyle.
They're matching up again now. Zone work for a period of time, not in this fourth quarter though. So they're going for a different look. That man Armstrong again.
Ava trying his best and keeping it nice and physical on Armstrong. Bowling looks inside. There's no one there for him. Knocked out of court. It'll be Eltham ball.
Good, just a hand there by Ava to get it onto. Just a hand by Ava to get it onto Banyard's leg. And it's out of court. Just checking on the spectators.
I think my family's down there.
They are. That is your family. The Mafra crew normally sit at the opposite end of the venue, but they've...
Seat was taken this time.
Seats were taken this time. Are they not? The guys here don't set them aside. That's horrific.
Who's responsible for that?
Well, I know I personally used to mark it out, but I've got other responsibilities these days.
Do.
So...
just a little bit of moisture on the court. And so they would be very desperate for a score on this possession because it's 13 points of difference and Thunder don't really look like slowing down. And so they're wanting, as I mentioned, to find a way to get a score right here. Because with Josh Sykes on the bench and the 2 imports for the Thunder have been strong from the outset and throughout, they need to find something special. Justin Ava. Look, Simon Bradbury with some space. Simon Bradbury finishes underneath the basket. And a bit more of that is what Eltham need.
Best game we've seen from Ava this year, I would suggest. Getting back to a little bit of the Ava we're used to. A little bit of patience there for Bradbury.
And McKay again just over applies the defense. He was pretty lucky that the shot didn't land.
Bradbury caught in between then.
So they have 9 seconds on the shot clock. Doyle just trying to keep an eye on what's happening behind him, falls out of court. And Eltham, as they did on the last possession, will want another score. I thought Lockie Dent's defensive effort, even though Doyle has scored 24 points, has been quite good. Pressure
Tough ask,
certainly
isn't it?
been there. Yep. Oh, again.
Oh, Ava.
Justin Ava.
That is Ava of old, that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, and it's back to 9 points.
It's a bit like what we were saying with Schweers and Abel on each other before in the women's. Here you are with Armstrong and Ava. Both doing a fair bit of work for their group, defending each other.
Oh,
this is always going to be the problem when you got Bradbury showing on these on-balls.
The third team foul.
Back to 9.
Ben Waldron will look to ran to the court. And he'll either make a huge impact or not much of an impact.
It sounds silly, but you're spot on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely spot on.
Yep. You go one of 2 ways.
It has the potential to be a big offensive weapon.
Yeah.
But he's got to lock in at both ends of the floor.
Yeah, thinking back, that probably does sound quite stupid, but I think that's just
No,
the sort of play that it is.
You're absolutely right.
And so it's McKay matching up again. Offensive foul called. It was a nice and subtle one by the referee. And I think
it was just that split moment, wasn't
there?
Yeah,
I wasn't entirely sure what was going on for a moment there. It wasn't the usual antics you see at this stage of the game for an offensive foul.
Referee Mitch Hare normally likes his theatrics, and he just left us all on edge for a moment.
Part of the drama. Bowling, a man who has certainly shown himself this afternoon with 15 points and 6 rebounds, heads to the bench. Okay.
Big chance for a couple of Eltham guys here to step up on what they've done in the first half. They've been sat for a while. The likes of Waldron, likes of McKay, chance to step up. Here
Adam Doyle from 3. It was too short. McKay fights the rebound, knocks it down to Zent. Quick transition ball. McKay helps. He gets the intercept, and it's back in Eltham hands. What do they go for? A quick transition play. Waldron is in the corner. Ava with the laneway to the basket. Never really looked likely. He says, a bit of contact there, but the referee didn't see any.
That is the level. That is the difference of the level, though. A big V probably would have been called.
Yeah.
And bailed out. This level.
High quality referees, too.
Well, yeah, you're rolling out with Hare, Baddock, and McCarthy. It's a great lineup. I've spoken about it nearly every time.
Big, he's tall.
Oh, it's what you got to finish. They're the ones he's got to put down.
It's not over by any measure. It is Campbell who gave it to Armstrong. Would usually finish them, but doesn't really matter if you gather your offensive rebound because you get another 14 seconds to work with. And so it's Banyard gives it to Dent.
Left his feet.
Oh, a chance here for Eltham. What do they call? She has a quiet whistle.
Isn't it?
Not to be overcritical of our good friend. And now Campbell heads to the bench, and in his place is Loken. Who just had the 1 point so far, 3 rebounds. He also has 4 fouls.
Need to get this back to that 6 or 7 points.
Chance.
And now you go.
Simon Bradbury.
Here it is at 7. Now we need to stop.
Doyle with his 3rd assist.
Switching it. Switching back. Armstrong's been the man. He's down.
Doyle is just playing some really nice defense.
Oh,
hello.
Dent.
And Lockie Dent. Just when they needed it.
Every time Eltham's look like we're coming. Thunder have just hit a big bucket. It's made a big play.
This is a Thunder outfit who lost 3 of their starting 5 from last year's Seabull campaign. And coach Sam Armstrong has put together a really nice looking outfit who has proven themselves to be able to come alive in these down the stretch. And Lockie Dent, a man that has been involved for a few years now down at the Thunder, has just hit a massive 3, and it's back to 10 points the difference. So as they've been able to do on the last few minutes of play, they'll be needing to get a score here, whether it's through Simon Bradbury, maybe an outside shot from Doyle, Ava or Waldron. Trevor McKay probably hasn't had as much scoring as he'd liked this afternoon, but he's also an option. He's got the ball right now. What does he do? He backs his way in. Is he going to get that score I talk about? And he does exactly that. He only has 3 points.
Very much an individual battle.
5. Doyle fights for it. Yep, that was a one-on-one.
That was...
Simon Bradbury being forced to match up against the point guard for a moment there. And from long range, it was too short for Banyard.
Said early, Banyard's been looking confident from that range. He hasn't been afraid to shoot it.
I don't think that was really the play that the coach, Sam Armstrong, was wanting, but that's the way it worked out in the end. So Waldron has the ball. What does he look to? Looks to Justin Ava. Lots of physicality inside. McKay has it. What does he do? Does he do a similar thing as last time? Back his way in, gives it to Bradbury, and in the air. The athleticism of Simon Bradbury is on display.
I'm not sure that was a play.
You're kidding.
Well, that's...
I saw that at training.
Yeah. Made the best of a bad scenario,
yeah.
I think.
Do they go for an
Full
outside
credit.
shot again?
Suddenly we are back to 6.
Jesus, using all of the
Who would've-
half.
I've got to tell you, I would not have thought.
Ooh, big body falls. Bradbury, foul called. Being hands out. Fouls on Simon Bradbury. The crowd were ready to explode for a moment there.
When you see the way Dent goes down after getting hit by McKay, and then you see the contact of Bradbury on the arm there of Logan.
Yeah.
It's like chalk and cheese, wasn't it? But one's a foul and one's not. Not
Yep.
necessarily what you would have thought.
Bradbury with those long arms. And now both teams with 14 fouls, so free throws for every foul from now. It's Logan at the line. As I said, he's only got the 1 point so far in the form of a free throw.
2.5 to go. 6 in it. Need some big Eltham boys to step up here and make a run, but Logan.
Eltham will be praying these don't go in. Oh, gosh. That just sat there.
It did, didn't it?
Can he make the second? That is the question. Puts it up, and it never looked like missing.
It's 7. 7 points.
7 points it is. Imagine they can certainly fight back. Do they try and force fouls and go to the free throw line? They try for outside shooting. Doyle. Oh. Referee gestures that it is a foot violation. And so Eltham will have 15 seconds on the shot. Okay, with some space at the 3. Heads in on the right hand side. Puts it off the glass. The crowd is standing. The crowd are cheering. The crowd is happy with that one because Jeremy McKay just put in for 2 points and he'll head to the line for one more.
So going into today, across 2 games, Jeremy McKay was shooting the ball at 93% across 2 games.
Yeah.
And today, that's just his 4th shot attempt. He's 3 of 4.
He's the kind of guy that will only take the shot if it's there. And he makes the free throw. And just like that, after that 3 ball of Lockie Dent just moments ago, it looked like that could be almost it. But now it is back to just 4 points with 2 minutes plus change to go.
And the crowd is into it.
Oh, yeah. So
For the first time, the crowd has arrived. This, oh, huge.
Huge 3 ball from Chilcott. That's his first score of the afternoon, and it came with a 3 ball when it was desperately needed. Adam Doyle.
Over Chilcott.
Never looked like going. Now it's back to Armstrong. He gives it to Dent, and now it's 7 points the difference with less than 2 minutes to go. McKay fights for it, falls out of court. It'll be Eltham ball.
Said though before, every time Eltham looks like it's going to make a run, the Thunder hit a big shot.
Yep.
And it just happened again, didn't it?
What the good sides do. And Bowling re-enters the court.
It's probably been the big change for Eltham coming to this level is we're at the big V level. You sort of know there's limited options as to who the main guy is going to be in taking those clutch shots. Here we are at this level. It's happened numerous times. So many scoring options across these teams. As we have a warning on the bench of Northwest Tassie. Some comments being made by Chilcott, I believe. .148 to go, 7 points in it. Doyle and Dent going at it again.
Ben Waldron presents. Matched up on Bowling. Bradbury turns the basket, is found, and it's 1 for 2. Don't know what his free throw shooting percentage was coming into tonight, but he'll be certainly wanting to make them.
71% for the
Big
season
man
to date, and 2 of 2 here tonight.
Oh, you'd back him in then.
Well, there is the commentator's curse from you, Mr. Whelan.
Well, if you had one in the women's game, I can have one in the men's game, and then we can call it evens. Makes the first opportunity to bring it back to 5. 1.5 minutes remaining. It's building for something really special to happen here for Eltham if they can find a way. Oh, and he misses the second. And It'll be Eltham who regain the possession.
Ava has drawn contact.
And the foul was on number 22, Banyard. That's it. How many fouls has he got now? He's got 4. Interesting. Justin Ava, chance to bring it back to 4 points. Makes the first.
Well,
probably the last thing that the Thunder would have wanted is a foul on the rebound there when it just wasn't necessary. And he makes the second, and it's 4 points. Coach Trevor Lee drawing up some plays on his whiteboard. There's now 1.5 minutes to go. 4 points the difference in favour of the away team, the Northwest Tasmanian Thunder. A Dent with some space. McKay comes to help. Leaves Banyard open. Mid-range jumper. There's a foul called, no doubt.
It's a smart foul by Bradbury.
Yeah. I was thinking that mid-range jumper, given what we've seen about the momentum just being stifled the moment that it comes towards Eltham, that would have been so typical that it did miss. But of course, they got the offensive board through the hands of Campbell, who will now be at the line for 2.
%68% from the free throw line for the season. Here's Campbell as he hits the first. 1 of 3 tonight so far.
That's when you need to hit him.
Yep.
Time.
Back to 6. Imagine you're looking for Doyle to create here.
Waldron presents McKay inside. Now Waldron from 3. Was there some contact? McKay gathers the offensive rebound. No foul called. Doyle fights for it, gets the ball back. Quite amazingly. McKay, geez, this is an ugly offense. Justin Ava now from the perimeter. Justin Ava! That is Justin Ava at his very best. That is so Justin Ava, you don't even know, because he just knocked down a 3 with 1 minute to go and 6 points the difference. And now they head into a timeout with 53 seconds remaining. It is Northwest Tasmanian Thunder with a 3-point margin.
A little bit of extra effort from Adam Doyle. Got his hands on it. Save possession.
I can't believe they held on to that possession there. Doyle just fought and found a way to hold on to it. And then left Justin Ava with some space from the perimeter after McKay almost lost it as well. And then Ava knocked it down for 3.
It wasn't pretty, but 3 is 3. And we're back to a 3-point lead.
Now Doyle has
Northwest.
24 points. Bradbury has 19. Simon Bradbury's been good this afternoon. And Justin Ava now with 14, shooting 50% from the field.
You'd imagine Armstrong's going to be involved in this play, wouldn't you?
Yeah. And then the concern is that when you have someone like Armstrong, it just sucks the defense out and then leaves someone like a Banyard or a Campbell just to swoop in for an offensive rebound.
They've been using a lot of that pick and roll, using a lot of the on-balls, dragging Bradbury into pick and roll scenarios, and you would imagine they're going to look to do something like that again here. Does Trevor Lee change up what he does defensively? The zone worked really well to start this comeback. Does he look to go back to that?
And Coach Trevor Lee keeps his trust in Ben Waldron. He's only shot 22% from the field for his 6 points.
And Northwest have advanced, so they've got 14 seconds on the shot clock. That's it. They've given up 10.
Justin Ava throwing his hands around.
There it is,
Dent's
involving
now.
Bradbury in that on ball.
What can they do with Dent? And Bradbury, now it's Bowling, turns to the basket. Oh, and he gets it to drop, does Bowling.
He started the game. He started the game extremely well, so hardly surprising he's the guy to make some big shots at the end.
He now has 17 points. Does Bowling. He's back down that 5-point margin that they were holding on to for some time. Justin Ava looking for another 3-ball. Justin Ava again! Oh, wow. Justin Ava from the exact same spot as last time.
Armstrong going, who's this bloke? Fair question, because we haven't seen that from him this
17
year.
points, McKay fights for it. Referee calls a foul. And was it Armstrong that was fouled?
McKay's gone the steal, and
five personal fouls. McKay will head to the bench. Mitch Lee will be the man to replace him.
And that's it's one of those you look at, isn't it? Is that what you want as your 5th in this situation?
Mm-hmm. Look, that was a foul, 100%.
No, absolutely. No, not downing that at all.
Yeah.
It was a low percentage option though, wasn't it? Go on the steal on that. So then Avis walked the line. He's out of the game. They've walked the line to get to 3 points, potentially 4.
Now 23.4 seconds remaining. It is the Northwest men who lead by 3 points. Chance to make it 4. And it's done exactly that. So it's a timeout taken for the Wildcats. And now, Coach Jeffers, what do you do?
You've got to get the ball in Doyle's hands, don't you?
Do we advance here?
Yeah, I think you've got to advance. You have to advance. There's absolutely no advantage in holding it back. Got to get the ball in Doyle's hands. You may as well go with a small lineup here.
Justin Ava 3 ball?
No, we'd have to assume Northwest Tassie ready to cover Ava this time. He's just flown under the radar this afternoon at the perimeter, which is probably understandable. Tassie wouldn't have come across him in the past, but
if you're watching at home, it says 22 seconds remaining. The correct amount is exactly 23.4 seconds. That's the amount of time that Eltham have to peg back 4 points that separates them and the Thunder, who have 96 points.
Wondering whether you just could have brought another shooter on the floor. Thinking that probably was an option, but aside from that,
Sykes and McKay both fouled out at the moment, so it's Mitch Lee. Throws it over to Ava. Doyle with some space. Justin Ava now from 3. He falls out. They'll foul here. And it'll be bowling lead to line for 2.
They executed it well. Got the shot they wanted.
It'll be 5 fouls now on Bradbury. So Ovi Magdalor enters the court. Yeah, it's tough for me.
Well, we said that when we were watching Eltham play Ringwood. It was a reverse scenario, and somehow Eltham found a way to go to OT. So this time, Eltham down 4. It's a difficult position, but we've seen it this season in NBL 1 already. Makes the second, and we're at 5. Well,
there's an
I'm guessing
foul
people
called.
at home are right now doing a replay of that, because Eltham are pretty adamant that he was in position.
There is not a fan here in the Eltham Stadium or on the Eltham bench who understands where that foul came from. But alas, it was a foul. Now it will be the Thunder with the ball.
He has fallen hard, Lockie Dent. You'll be able to see he is moving.
Just having a look at the replay myself here, Greg, if you wanted to have a gaze.
It is good to see Lockie is moving. He's obviously a heavy hit, whether legal or illegal, called as a foul, but good to see Lockie is with us.
Yeah. So the referee just explaining to the players of the Eltham Wildcats what the foul
Fantastic.
was.
Eltham crowd cheering Lockie Dent as he gets to his feet.
Slightly worse for wear, but he looks like he'll be okay.
Game Commissioner Bree Mountford stepping in to help out and checking that he's okay. And
court wiper goes to work.
Just come on, mate, some muscles here, kid.
It's 5 points is the difference, 14.1 seconds as it was before the free throws. It remains a very difficult task for Eltham. But there is still 14 seconds remaining. What do they decide to do? So Banyan has it, Ava fouls. And so Banyan will head to the line for 2.
Referees keen to get this moving. 2 shots, 12.7 seconds to go. Northwest Tassie by 5.
Makes the first, pushes it out to 6. Bowling comes in for the rebound. Yep, and another offensive rebound and a finish with just 10 seconds remaining. Easy as you like. Doyle will run out the game, gives it to Ava, who tries from long range. Justin Ava just drops it from long range.
1.2 seconds, 5 points in it, and they dribble it out.
And that will draw to a close.
That is overall a very, very good performance from Northwest Tassie. That display they put on in the first half, first 2.5 quarters really, was extraordinary. And even down the stretch, every time Eltham made a run, the Thunder came up with some big shots.
Had a tough loss last night to Frankston. They went down by 13 points, and the Eltham Wildcats managed to get over Dandenong, but it's been the opposite sort of occasion this afternoon because the Thunder have come out here and they've looked strong from the outset, and despite Eltham, who in this second half has played quite well, you'd say, to drag back that lead to its stages right down to about 4 points or so, even though it was as far as 20. And with that 3 of Ava, it is now a 5 points win for the Northwest Tasmanian men, who now have a 4-3 win-loss record compared to the Wildcats, who have 2-5, and in some ways will be feeling like some of these matches were the ones that got away, but in other ways it's been Tasmania who just fought and fought. And
well, they deserve to win, Northwest Tassie. Banyard was unbelievable in that first half, was exceptional. Chilcott was very good. Trey Armstrong was outstanding. Armstrong right throughout the game. Banyard, 48 points between the two of them, certainly led the way. And I think even if Eltham had got the win, I think it would have been viewed as them stealing it. Terrific comeback from them, but you got to be a bit more consistent. Josh Sykes is paid to be an import and play basketball, and his job is to stay in matches. And again, it's come to a close game, and your import's not in the game late down the stretch. That's something he's got to grow and continue to develop and get better at. Bradbury, much better today. Doyle, it's his 3rd game, just being dominant in the point guard position, just a level above. But good to see Justin Ava. That's his best game of the NBL one season. That's best game by a long stretch, not just offensively but defensively as well. And certainly hope that it's something he can grow for the rest of the season. But absolutely nothing away from Northwest Tasmania. That was an outstanding performance from them.
it doesn't get any easier for the Wildcats too, because next Sunday, when you'll be tuning into us no doubt again here at Eltham, they take on #1 ranked team in the Ballarat Miners, who shot 126 points or something ridiculous like that to beat Albury last night. On the Saturday, Eltham will head down to Frankston to take on a team that is similarly placed to them on the ladder and got over the line against Northwest last night.
Dan Trist making his return.
Right.
According to Frankston.
Okay.
Dan Trist will hit the floor for his first game next Saturday night against Eltham.
So they'll have a week.
Which is reminiscent of Eltham's season, to be honest.
Yeah.
Lucas Walker rolls in for one game against Nunawading when he plays Eltham.
Yeah.
Geelong brought their import in for his first game versus Eltham. So poor blokes have been up against it a little bit, but that's what the league's about.
It is. It's never going to be a walk in the park, and it's been that way so far. In the end, though, it was the Eltham Wildcats who came up short against a really strong Northwest Tassie team. 100-95. Thanks for your tuning in this afternoon, where you saw the Eltham Wildcats women with a strong performance over top of Launceston, but in the men it was Northwest Tassie who walk away 5-point victors after a really exciting encounter. My name's Tyson Whelan, being joined alongside by Greg Jeffers again. We'll certainly be here next Sunday as the Eltham Wildcats take on Ballarat in what's set to be two really exciting encounters. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you then.
Thank you.